Okay, so I'm sitting here at a light in my '69 Camaro that I've installed a Cowl induction hood on, and I always kind of wondered what the benefits were and how it actually worked, and kind of like to see it proved. I looked for some videos and couldn't find anything, so I thought I'd put something together for anybody who wanted to know. And what I did is I put a couple streamers on it. I taped one to the top of the Cowl induction scoop on the backside, and one underneath the Cowl induction scoop. And So right now, the engine's idling in the light here, and the airflow is clearly coming from the cooling fan through the engine compartment, across the engine, and out of the Cowl induction scoop. The benefit of that, obviously, is it's better cooling. Um, so when you're actually driving, though, there's a little different benefit that comes into play up to a certain speed, about 35 or 40 miles an hour. There's a high pressure area created at the base of the windshield. And as you can see here, now the streamers are being forced down into the Cowl induction scoop on the backside and down toward the engine, where that air is pushed down. The benefit of that is the air is forced into the engine, sort of like a supercharger or turbo would do. Not quite as great effect, obviously, but that's the advantage here. And so the faster we go, the more the air is forced in, the higher the pressure is in that area for the air pressure to go down inside the engine. Um, now, it's somewhat of a minimal benefit, but it does help increase your horsepower a little bit. Heard reports about 15 horsepower or so. I've also heard reports of people gaining approximate, or I should say, gaining like 1.5 seconds or so in a quarter mile reduction time. So it is a beneficial thing in two ways. Obviously, the cooling is good, and then we obviously have the benefit of the air being forced down into the engine. Now, this of course has to be ducted from the back side here directly to the carburetor or air cleaner, I should say, and ducted directly so that the air is actually forced into the engine. If it's just kind of open, it won't necessarily go into the engine. But it will kind of benefit in a couple ways, though. Also, one is that the air coming in there is obviously cooler than the air in the engine compartment. Some, maybe not an extreme amount, but a little bit cooler. And obviously, if air is cooler, then the oxygen molecules and everything are closer together, and there's more of them, and that's a benefit as well. So we're going to come up to a light here, and you'll be able to see that after I stop at the light, the streamer should come back out once the airflow from the engine cooling fan coming backwards out of the Cowl induction scoop is restored. That will be restored after I come to a complete stop after a few seconds. Because the air pressure is no longer higher there because we're not moving, and so then they should begin to come out of the scoop. As you can see, they are now a little bit already. They're beginning to start to push back out of the scoop because we're slowing down, and the air pressure and the effect of this is not as great at this point. And now we stopped, so now you can see they both come out, and the air is clearly flowing from the cooling fan of the engine out of the back here, and then obviously helps cool the engine. So, and then one more time here, as soon as this light changes again, we'll go ahead and we'll take off here, and you'll see that the increased air pressure clearly changes the streamers so that they are forced down inside of the engine compartment from the back down into the carburetor. And I have heard a report that there is one drawback to this that is potentially there, and that is when you're driving, if you go to speeds, for example, very high speeds, 150 miles an hour or so or better, maybe even a little lower than that, it creates lift underneath the engine compartment up to the hood, and really creates lift for the vehicle in the front end, which is a dangerous situation. So it's something to be aware of and consider, that you don't want to. You want to lift lift the front of your car up when you're driving at 150 miles an hour, because it becomes more of an airplane at that point, and that's not designed to fly. So it's kind of a dangerous situation. So be aware of that. Incidentally, to know the power of this effect that we have here of creating this high pressure area because of the airflow over the vehicle, and it's created right at the base of the windshield, and actually on the front of the hood, it's a low pressure area. But this effect is clearly most prevalent when you're watching an aircraft take off, because as an airplane wing moves through the air, it creates a low pressure area above the wing, a high pressure area under the wing, forcing the wing up into the void. That's how the lift is generated on aircraft, and that's how they fly. So this principle here is based on the same thing, really. Not really any different. That's how the high pressure area is created. So as you can see, it's very interesting. I have a little crosswind going here, so and I'm not really moving very fast. I'm doing about 30, 35. So you can see the crosswind's affecting a little bit, nullifying the effect slightly. As we increase speed, it would actually stop nullifying, as you can see it's doing here now. But but I always wondered if there was some way I could kind of visualize and see the effect, more or less to prove it, to prove the fact that the Cowl induction scoop does work, and it does force air down into the engine compartment or into the carburetor, wherever you might have it ducted. But if it's not forced or not ducted directly to the carburetor, it won't give you any benefit. Really, maybe a little, because it's fresher air and might get a little more air, and maybe it's a little more compressed, but not really unless it's completely ducted to the carburetor. But remember, you have to have an air cleaner in there, or the first dust storm you hit will ruin your engine. So make sure you're aware of that. And so that's what this video is for. And I hope you liked it. I hope I gave you some good information, because it sure helped me to visualize and realize what it does.